Let your body settle now. Your shoulders, feel how they want to climb toward your ears. They don't need to do that, just let them drop. Your hands, where are they resting? Notice the warmth in them, the quiet weight of your own fingers. Your jaw, you might be holding it without knowing. Let it go. Slightly apart. There is nothing your face needs to work through tonight. Your feet, the places where they meet the bed. Heavy now. The blanket across them, the slow warmth spreading upward. The weight of the blanket, the warmth of it. It doesn't matter what happened today. Tonight there is only this. There is nothing you need to solve right now. Nothing to plan. Nothing to remember. It will all be there tomorrow. And as you breathe, the world you know grows quiet, and something older takes its place. You are in a tent at an oasis, somewhere in the Great Sahara. The year is approximately 1100 CE. The caravan has traveled many weeks to reach this water, dromedaries moving between Sigil Masa in the north and the gold-rich lands of Ghana to the south, crossing the silent desert by memory and by star. Tonight the caravan has stopped. There is shade and water and the smell of date palms overhead. Tonight you will simply rest here. The camels are settled now. 30 of them, dromedaries, single-humped, their legs folded beneath them at the tethering line that runs between two palms at the edge of the clearing. Each animal tied with a loose rope, just enough to keep them from wandering into the palms during the night. They do not need to be tied tightly. They know what rest is. The loads have been taken down, stacked in careful order near the tent walls, the salt blocks wrapped in reed matting, the smaller bags of trade goods, the waterskins now heavy with oasis water. Each load was placed in the same position it occupies on the same animal every day. The men who packed those loads know where every strap goes, every knot. They have been doing this since before you joined the caravan. One of the older camels makes a sound, a long, low rumble from somewhere deep in its chest, not distress, just the settling sound they make when they are finally still. Another shifts its weight, tucking its head against its own flank. The tethering line sways once and goes still. The caravan is down to its slow breathing. The animals breathe. The men breathe. The oasis holds all of it. The water is not far. 20 paces from the tent, a shallow pool fed from below by something very old and very patient, rising through limestone and sand to collect in this basin, ringed with date palms. The palms have been here longer than the memory of anyone in the caravan. Their roots go deep, finding the same water that feeds the pool. You filled your waterskin at the pool this evening while the light was still low and warm. The water was cool against your hands, not cold, just cooler than the air. You brought your face down to it and drank slowly, the way you always drink at an oasis. No one hurries at the water. The desert teaches that. From inside the tent, you can hear it not quite a sound, more an absence of dryness. A faint softness in the air. The palm fronds catch the last of the evening breeze and release it. A single frog, somewhere among the reeds, calls once, then falls silent. The water does not need you to watch over it. It has been here through every season that has passed through this desert. It will be here when you leave. The fire was built while the sky was still orange. Date palm wood burns cleanly, a dry, steady flame with very little smoke. The cooking was done quickly. Grain boiled in a clay pot, a measure of dried meat added near the end, salt from one of the smaller trade portions, a handful of dried dates eaten as the pot cooled. Not complicated. The desert simplifies everything. After the meal, a small pot of camel's milk was passed around, warm from the animal, with a faint richness that sits differently than water. You held the cup a moment before drinking, feeling the warmth in the clay against your palms. The men around the fire were quiet by then. The talk of the day's route already said. The fire down to its embers. The embers are still there, outside the tent, a low orange glow visible through the gap in the tent panel, pulsing once when the night air moves through the palms. No flame, just the slow breathing of the coal. The smell of wood smoke has settled into the tent fabric, into the blanket over you, into your hair. A warm, dry smell. The meal is finished. Your hands are resting now, open and quiet on the blanket, and there is nothing left for them to do tonight. The salt came from Tag Haza, a place in the deep desert where the rock itself is salt, where the houses are built of salt blocks and the roofs are thatched with camel hide. The blocks are cut large and flat, each one wrapped in palm reed matting and loaded in matched pairs across a camel's back, balanced. Salt is worth its own weight in gold in the lands south of the desert. Alongside the salt, other things. Small sealed leather pouches of copper, worked into rings and bangles somewhere to the north. Folded cloth from the workshops of Sigil Masa, undyed and ready for the markets of the south. A few tools wrapped in oiled cloth. A small collection of glass beads in a sealed clay jar, blue and green, the kind that travel far and mean different things in different hands. On the return journey, the loads will be different. Gold dust, sealed carefully in small leather pouches, every gram accounted for. Raw ivory, lashed to the outside of the packs. The camels will carry a different world north than the one they are carrying south. There is nothing you need to solve right now. Nothing to calculate, nothing to plan. The loads are packed, the knots are tied. The goods will keep through the night. The stars are out now. All of them, all at once. This is what the desert gives you, the sky without anything to interrupt it. No hills, no trees except the palms close at hand. Nothing to break the horizon for 100 days' walk in any direction. Just the great dark bowl of the sky turned over the flat earth, thick with light from edge to edge. The caravan guide reads the stars the way others read a road. Not just for direction, though direction is there. For time of year. For the slow progress of the night. There are stars he watches for the way he watches for landmarks. A certain pattern low in the south that means the rainy season is close. A bright one in the west that tells him how many hours remain before dawn. Through the gap in the tent panel, you can see a strip of that sky. A deep, absolute black, the stars very close and very still. No moon yet. The darkness between the stars is the kind of darkness that has no bottom. You look at it for a moment and feel the earth very solidly beneath you, the blanket over you, the tent fabric overhead, and then you stop looking at the depth of it and just let it be there. The stars are keeping their own count. They have been doing this long before the first caravan crossed this desert. The wind comes from the east. Not strongly. At night, it rarely comes strongly in this part of the desert. Just a slow, dry movement of air that has traveled over 1,000 kilometers of sand to reach this oasis, picking up heat and releasing it, carrying a very faint mineral dryness that you notice in the back of the throat. The date palms lean a little with it, and then straighten. The tent fabric breathes in and out along one wall. From the direction of the Great Dune, you saw it this afternoon, a long curved ridge of sand to the east of the oasis, its crest sharp against the sky, a thin sound. Not quite a sound, more the feeling of a very large thing being very quiet. The dune breathes too, in its own way. Sand shifting by grains at the crest where the wind finds the edge, sliding slowly down the leaf face in a fine, silent fall. By morning, the wind may have moved a little sand across the trail you came in on. The trail will be slightly different, covered a little here, uncovered somewhere else. This is why the guide does not navigate by trail marks. The desert does not hold marks the way roads do. It holds the knowledge in the man who walks it. The wind moves through the palms again. The tent breathes. The sand breathes. You breathe. The camels are breathing now, slowly. The dromedary breathes in a particular way, deep and unhurried, the rib cage expanding in a long, patient arc, and then settling again. At rest, a camel breathes about 8 times in a minute. You have been around them long enough that this rhythm is familiar to you the way the rhythm of a house is familiar. Their breathing is just part of the night. One of them, the large, pale one that has been at the head of the caravan, has its head resting on the ground. When you first saw it, you watched for a moment to be sure it was well. But its eyes were half closed and its breathing steady. The other animals showed no concern. It had simply decided to lie fully down. Good enough reason. Their smell is everywhere. Warm and dry and particular, not unpleasant once you know it, just the smell of a large animal that has spent its life in heat and dust. Lanolin and sweat and the faint sweetness of dried grass. By now, it is simply the smell of the caravan. It means you are somewhere safe enough to stop. There is nothing you need to solve right now. Nothing to watch, nothing to count. The animals know how to rest. You can rest with them. Your thoughts are loosening now. The salt blocks are stacked by the tent wall. The waterskins are full for the first time in a week. The animals ate. The men ate. The fire is down to coal. The night is quiet in the way only desert nights are quiet, when the distance in every direction is too great for any sound to cross. The guide is keeping watch near the camels, not because anything threatens, but because someone always watches. This is understood between caravan people, one man to the next, through all the hours of darkness. You do not need to be awake for any part of it. The stars above the dune are still turning, barely. The east wind moves through the palms and finds the tent and passes through. The large, pale camel breathes its 8 slow breaths each minute, steady as anything in this desert can be steady. Its breath rises a little into the cool air. You are warm now. The blanket is over you. Your feet are heavy inside it. The oasis is between you and the long, empty desert in every direction, and the oasis is enough date palms, water rising from below the sand, fire embers cooling in the dark air. All of it holding you here for exactly as long as you need it. There is nothing you need to carry tonight. The salt will carry itself. The stars will carry the direction. The guide will carry the knowledge of which way to walk when morning comes. You don't need to hold any of it. Let the palms hold the night wind. Let the embers hold their last warmth. Let the camels breathe. The tent, the fire's last glow, the desert in every direction, vast and absolutely still. Sleep now. The camels breathe at the tethering line, slow and steady in the dark.